Elite and legendary. Now, on this channel, the only thing I want to talk about is elite and legendary NBA players. Now, I'll just say from the beginning, I'm 56 years old, so I've been watching the NBA for almost 5 decades. And this channel was more so for those that are around my age or those that just appreciate the game of basketball as a whole. I'm not coming off as somebody that's a basketball savant or anything like that. I just want to celebrate the players that I grew up watching and enjoyed watching them play the game of basketball and how they competed against each other and how they respected the game, because I think that is so important that the game was respected by these men during their eras. I don't see that today. I don't really see the love of the game and the respect for the game that I saw growing up. But today I want to talk about Julius Erving, aka Dr. J. Now, Dr. J was my first childhood sports hero. Facts. I mean, he really was, because I was born and raised in Philadelphia, even though I lived in other places, later in my life. But that's where I'm from, Philadelphia. And he was my hero, man. Like Dr. J was that dude. I mean, I just loved watching him play the game of basketball. I thought he was absolutely awesome. His athleticism, the way he could score, his competitive nature. I just loved it. I tried to shoot my free throws. When I shot my free throws, I tried to shoot them exactly how he did. I tried to finger roll like he did. I tried to do my reverse layups like he did. And of course, I never had the athleticism that he had. Of course, I never did. I mean, I was athletic, but not nowhere near compared to no Dr. J. So, but when I saw him and I saw the way he played, I just enjoyed him so much. And over the course of those early years for me when I was young, you know, when because I really followed his career closely because he played in Philadelphia, which is my hometown, and all I saw from him his entire career, these are the words that are best can describe him and what type of overall person and also basketball player he was. When I think of Dr. J, I think of a person that had a lot of class. He was a very classy individual, and he also dressed with a lot of class. Unlike these guys today, I don't know what they be wearing, but you know, for you young people that like this crazy way these guys dress, more power to you. But these gentlemen dressed in suits, they dress with a lot of class. Also, when I think of Dr. J, I think of a man of integrity. He was definitely a man that had a lot of integrity, and I saw it in him at a very early age. Also, he was very articulate. Every time he spoke with the press, he was very articulate with his words and how he answered. He was always mild mannered. He was always calm. He never cursed at all, never used foul language, never had an attitude. That just wasn't him. That just wasn't his persona. Also, the man was very intelligent, and I could tell he was intelligent by the way he spoke and by the way he carried himself. Also, respect. He was very respected by his peers, in the NBA. And I'm telling you, he was very, very well respected. He was, when I was growing up, before Bird and Magic and Jordan and them started taking over, Dr. J was considered the ambassador of the NBA. He was basically carrying the league up until, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird came into the league. He was carrying the league. Now, he didn't save the league maybe not like, Bird and Magic did, but Dr. J was definitely carrying the league. There's no question about that. Also, he was very honorable man. He was a fierce competitor, and I like that. You want to see guys go out there and go at each other, and he did that. He didn't do it in a nasty way, but he definitely he definitely came after you. And I've seen him score in so many different ways, and he wanted to dunk on everybody, especially centers, like big guys. He just took it to him, and I love that about Dr. J. Determination. He was very determined. He really was having a hard time, winning that elusive NBA championship. Once he got into the NBA, it was very difficult because those teams back then was so they were really good. Like the East had a lot of good teams in it. Very very highly competitive. Boston, Milwaukee, just to name a couple. I can't, I'm kind of doing this off the top of my head. I can't remember all of those teams, but the league back then was so competitive, and especially in the East, and very physical. It was a very physical game back during that time. And it wasn't that he didn't have problems beating those other teams, but it was for some reason, just Boston, man, them Boston Celtics was tough to beat, man. Even though they had their chances when they did beat them, but they were very difficult to deal with, especially when Boston, got Bird, and they got McHale, and they got Parrish, and they got Ainge, and they got DJ, Dennis Johnson. Like that team was loaded, and they had a great coach as well. And they battled a lot. I wish they would do a documentary on the Sixer Boston Celtic, rivalry, because that was a true rivalry, and that's why I hated Boston so much when I was coming up as a kid, because they was always giving, my 76ers so much hell, when it came to, trying to get to the NBA Finals. And, of course, the Sixers did get to the NBA Finals on a few occasions, and they lost, unfortunately, which was very frustrating as well. But in 1983, they finally bust through. And, they had to learn how to play team ball because – a few years before they won the championship, they had a lot of individual, great players on the team, but they were playing as individuals as opposed to playing as a team. And that wasn't going to get it done against teams that actually played team football. That just wasn't going to happen. So finally, we got the right collection of players. But when we got Moses Malone, and I didn't even know much about Moses Malone at that time. I knew a little bit about him, but when we finally got him, I knew that we were going to win a championship. I just knew it. He came in predicting 4-4-4, like a complete sweep throughout the whole playoffs, which was great. We only lost one game, but I just knew we were going to win when we got him because we were lacking a center. Daryl Dawkins, he did okay for us, very athletic, but he just wasn't a consistent scorer. He wasn't a great rebounder, but he did what he could. And of course we had Caldwell Jones, which he was like serviceable, but he wasn't a great center. But when we got Moses Malone, he was a 3-time MVP, the best offensive rebounder in NBA history. Nobody's even close. And he was a great defensive rebounder. He had the whole package. He could dominate the paint. He could shoot the mid-range. He could shoot free throws. He was a great defender. I mean, Moses Malone was just a great player. So we finally broke through in 83, and I was just so happy. But let me I have a few more words that I want to talk about when I talk about Dr. J. He was also humble. He was very creative with his game. He was just like a ballerina in the air. Of course, Jordan took that to a whole nother level, but Dr. J was very creative. These young people today think only thing Dr. J did was dunk, but he did way more than just dunk. He was a very creative scorer. Athletic. He showed class in defeat. He didn't walk off the court early. He wasn't a sore loser. He would go into the locker room of the victor and shake their hands and congratulate them. That's class. That's having a lot of dignity as well. And of course, these are the years that I never saw Dr. J play. From 71 to 73, he played for the Virginia Squires. From 73 to 76, he played for the New York Nets. And from 76 to 87, he played for the Philadelphia 76ers. That's when I got a chance to start seeing him play, when he started playing for the Sixers. That's when I started following him. And, the one thing I'll say about that 83 team, it was stacked. We had Maurice Cheeks, Bobby Jones, Moses Malone, Andrew Toney, Clint Richardson, Mark Mark McNamara, and Earl Curitan. Now, of course, there was other guys on the team. Okay, there was other guys, but these were the main guys. These were the main guys on this team. Of course, Maurice Cheeks is a Hall of Famer. Bobby Jones is a Hall of Famer. Moses Malone a Hall of Famer, and Dr. J is a Hall of Famer. So the team was loaded with talent, and finally we broke through in '83. And I wish I could have seen Dr. J, those early years when he was in the ABA, because he won 2 championships in the ABA, and also he won 2 ABA playoff MVPs, and of course he won an NBA Most Valuable Player MVP in the NBA. And I just wish he would have won more NBA championships, but the competition back then was just so fierce, man. It was just so fierce. It was, the Celtics was loaded, the Lakers was loaded, the Milwaukee Bucks was loaded. Like, there was a lot of teams that had a lot of talent. And of course, at some point, age starts to become a factor. When you have so many playoff, long runs, and you start getting up there in age, and you just can't do it anymore. And other teams are coming up and they're younger, and maybe more deep, so, there's things you got to think about. But like I said, Dr. J, he was my man. Career points, 30,000 points, 24.2 points per game, 10,525 rebounds for his career, which was 8. He averaged almost 10 rebounds, 8.5. And he had over 5,000 assists at 5,176, 4.2 per game for his career. But like I said, when you talk about all his accolades, the majority of them he definitely got in the ABA. He's a 3-time ABA Most Valuable Player, 3-time MVP. In the NBA, he was an 11-time NBA All-Star, 5 times ABA All-Star, 2-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, 5-time All-NBA First Team, which is important, which nobody, because a lot of people don't talk about Dr. J, but he was a phenomenal player. 2 times All-NBA Second Team, 4-time All-ABA First Team, All-ABA Second Team, ABA All-Defensive First Team, ABA All-Rookie First Team, 3 times ABA Scoring Champ, ABA Slam Dunk Champion, and he had his number retired by the Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers. He's on the ABA All-Time Team, the ABA All-Time MVP, and of course, he's on the 35th, 50th, and 75th NBA Anniversary Team. Now, his jersey was also retired by UMass. That's where he played college. So overall, Dr. J, he's just a phenomenal player. I'm glad I got a chance to watch him play. Like I said, again, he was my hero, my sports hero, growing up until, of course, Magic became a sports hero to me, and a whole lot of other players, and then, of course, Michael Jordan. But Dr. J was that high flyer. I'm telling you, man, I had so much respect for this man, so much respect. And he carried himself with such class and dignity, which I think is something that is completely missing from the game today. And I'm not talking just basketball. I'm talking about in most sports, that class, that dignity, that being a professional. Julius Erving was a professional. I mean, seriously, he really reached out to the younger people when they were coming in and wanted to be a help to them, wanted to, teach them how to be a professional. Charles Barkley came in the league at a great time because he got a chance to play on a team with Maurice Cheeks, with Dr. J, with Moses Malone, with Bobby Jones. He got a chance to play with those veterans and to learn how to be a professional, even though he has his own personality. But he did have the opportunity to learn how to be a professional from these great men that represented the NBA. And they had won championships and went through a lot of wars. And I think, they had a great impact on Barkley. So, I'm wrapping it up, but I just wanted to pay respect to my childhood hero, my first childhood hero, sports hero, Julius Erving, a.k.a. Dr. J. Wow, what a guy. I'm so grateful that I got a chance to watch this man play. I had a poster of him dunking, a big one, hanging up in my room. I remember that when he was jumping from the free throw line. He had that look, and his big old afro was flying in the air. And keep in mind, this man was definitely an icon. He represented Converse, and everybody wanted Converses back in the day. But that's my tribute to Julius, the Doctor Erving, a Rucker Park legend as well. I forgot to mention that. All right, guys. I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.